Believe. Sometimes in life you don't really need to know what comes next. There's a power beyond our own understanding at work. You can know where you want to go, but not how you're going to get there. That's totally fine because you're not the first, and you probably won't be the last. But once you know where you want to go, place the journey in the hands of the one who created you. You might encounter obstacles along the way, and that's okay. Because if you chase after God while pursuing your dreams, then nothing that comes across your path will be able to stop you. Yeah, it might slow you down for a while, but it won't stop you. Here's an example. God had promised to take the Israelites to the land of milk and honey. There was a shorter way to get there, but He led them there using the scenic route. This route brought with it the obstacle known as the Red Sea. With Pharaoh and his armies behind them, they began to fear that they won't make it to the promised land. Then God parted the Red Sea so that they could walk through it. The point I'm trying to make here links with the verse that speaks about you being able to move mountains if you have faith as small as a mustard seed. You have heard this verse, and you have had a dream that you want to achieve. You need to start working towards achieving it, and while doing so, you need to have faith. You need to believe. You can't just ask God to get you somewhere, but you're not willing to go the distance. Again, my example comes from the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. The land of milk and honey was promised to them, but they still needed to do their part to get there. In their case, it was leaving Egypt. Along the way, God took care of everything else. Some of you probably think that you have no business moving mountains because as far as you're concerned, they're perfect where they are. Open up your mind for a minute and allow my words to unpack the metaphor behind the verse. The mountains in your life might not necessarily be actual mountains. It might be circumstance, or that the people you surround yourself with are holding you back. You won't overcome any obstacle unless you have faith, unless you believe that it can be overcome. In your weakness, the strength of God is made evident. Where man fails, God succeeds. Do you know that you have to stop holding yourself back? Because God has a plan for you. Does that sound familiar? It should, because it's a very popular verse. But too many people use it as a comforter instead of as a motivator. The verse is letting you know that the struggle you're facing, whatever it may be, is not meant to be permanent. For that reason, if you read Jeremiah 29, verse 11 to 13, you will see that the Lord has good plans for you. However, as with any plan, it needs to be carried out. So if you want the future that God placed you on this earth for, don't just sit around, but work towards it, and do so by aligning yourself with God and His Word as you pursue the dream or dreams that God shows you. To quote Joseph in the book of Genesis, where he answers two prisoners of Pharaoh, "Do not dreams belong to God? Do not dreams belong to God?"